number 2 feeder pan that's been washed. Now look at the amount of coal still stuck under one. Down below are the pant leg splitter. I'm going to zoom in because I believe all that muck of coal that I'm going to zoom in on is all stuck in the bottom pant leg. I think the belt is running. One sec here. Hello, East Coal Shiploader.
Go ahead.
Do you show 42, 44 conveyor running?
44 and 42 are both running. While they're showing running, yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Just what we're doing is great. Don't change anything for the moment. That's excellent. Okay, I'm going to show you that with a hose job, all that coal down below, all jammed in that pant leg, we're going to get rid of it. Okay, the pant leg of 43 has been washed. We'll zoom in. You see the tri-made steel. This should give a pretty doggone good idea of just how much coal gets packed in there, and obviously restricts, cuts the flow. So we're working on these auto sprays and adjusting the sprays. We'll do more discussion on that later. I've just entered the coal surge tank. This is the pant leg of 43 conveyor. The foremen were saying that the pant legs are building up, that the 805 coal is incredibly sticky. They were down for 2 hours on graveyard. They washed absolutely everything. And said half an hour later, everything was plugged again. So I'm going to zoom in on that hole to show you the thickness of the coal that's congealed here in the base of the pant legs. And this apparently is only an hour or two from having hand washed this. So we're going to increase the spray, auto spray system. Let's look back at the spray bar here. We're going to increase that. We're also going to take a hose and start off with everything clean and then go have a look inside the surge tank. Saturday, May 24th, 2014, 8 o'clock. This is the inside of the surge tank. The cage on the other side, I'll go over here with the illumination of the inside lights. You may see the old jetter station cage. The access to this has been blocked off and the jetter cannon taken up to the top. No access to that cage. That's a separate discussion. Right now we're getting set up to start reclaim again.
Okay, rotating
The reports that graveyard was down for 2 hours with plugs on ship loaders, pant legs, plug. I am pleasantly surprised to be inside seeing that number 1 feeder is clean. No one did a flush. No water was required. See how good this turns out. So there's number 1 feeder. Pan back. Number 3 feeder. Number 3 feeder as well. No rat holes. Very clean. Okay, number 2 feeder, I washed only this one side. Hopefully it'll give you a sense as to how thick and how packed up this coal is right under the feeders. As soon as the vibrating feeders start delivering coal to the pant leg area, you end up with a mound of coal like this, and you see it wrapped over there. I am going to continue washing till everything is spotless, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, I was focused on trying to wash that lower pant leg. High pressure hose shooting from up top. I cannot do it from just 20 feet away. I cannot get that hard packed coal to clean out of that pant leg. I'll be doing this from down below and we'll video from down below. Meanwhile, I'm going to just show you one more time. Number 1 feeder's lip, and I'm going to now take the hose and get rid of this buildup. Okay, this is Saturday, May 24th. A hose was used to start washing the pant leg. Give you a sense of the thickness of the coal that can build up in the pant leg. Rather stunning, actually. Very, very heavily built up. As a sideline issue, we removed the upper grizzly. So if this image shows, you'll just be looking out at open space underneath the head box into the surge tank. And this is the lower grizzly, and the lower grizzly has had extensive damage. We seldom, if ever, use the lower grizzly, but you'll notice over here handrails are missing. You'll also notice the amount of coal buildup and weight sitting on top of this particular lower grizzly. Okay, number 2 feeder on the left. Number 1 feeder washed off. Number 3 feeder washed off. I got to do a little bit of an awkward turn here and see if we can pick up number 4. Number 4 still has some coal on it. I'm going to give it a shot. And then if you look down on the lower pant leg, we still, with belts running, hoses, we still cannot get rid of that coal down below. This is 805 coal. I'm going to do some more washing. We'll get more video in a minute. Okay, the ship loader started up. The west opened his pant leg. So you can see the various coal down through the lighted area. You can see the lower part of 43 pant leg, which was washed earlier on this video. We're now going to proceed to wash the balance. The east will open his gate, and we'll see how good an image we can get when everything's clean here. Here's the access point to the jetter station, historical jetter station. I'll walk you over here. And hopefully if you can see this grate where I put my foot, this is a new grate to keep the usage jetter cannon out of the surge tank, out of confined space. Below my foot is the old ladder that allowed access down to this jetter cannon. And down below you can see the platform, and that's where we used to do, which is approximately 12 feet down into the tank. Ideal. So in the attempt to get it out of confined space, we've moved it up here. The first thing I can show you is you try and tilt the jetter to unplug number 2 feeder. We're whacking on this. We're whacking on this. I can see absolutely nothing inside the tank. I'm blind. There is no loading going on. Very minimal dust. No bright sunlight. This is the optimum conditions to look inside the tank from the new jetter location. And in optimum conditions, standing here, I'm blind. Now if I kneel down and I start going down in here and I cup my eyes and I lean over, and because there's no dust and no sunlight, I can actually, as you can see on the camera, you can see an ability to see some of the surge tank. But I am crouched over right now. I'm kneeled down, and I'm leaning out, holding on to the jetter pipe to prevent falling headfirst into the tank. So we really have to do some work here on this jetter in the throes of getting it out of confined space. There will have to be modification. We'll have to meet up here, and we'll have to do that relatively soon. This is a good first attempt. Clearly we got to get this jetter declared not confined space to use it, but without a shroud, without protection from the light background, and without greater depth and modification, as it stands right now, the jetter would not be useful in any significant way whatsoever for unplugging of coal. And we're just fortunate that the only feeder rat hold is number 2. Here's number 2 feeder. And this is after 5 minutes of loading. I don't know if it's the steam that's affecting the image here. Try and get auto focus. You can see the beginning of layering of coal in 5 minutes. Probably hasn't been 100 ton of coal come out of that feeder, and already you can see, I'm going to try and lower the camera down without losing it, and you can see the buildup of number 2 feeder. Number 1 feeder, number 3 feeder, number 4 feeder are all delivering coal. Number 2 feeder's run out but there's the beginning of the layer that quick. So within another half hour, an hour, that layer will look like the earlier image of the buildup under number 2 feeder. And that's the area we suspect when coal has to vibrate over top of the rough surface. It may be what's impacting the flow from the feeders and reducing their effectiveness. This is the lower pad leg to the East Coast ship loader. We've got a lot washed off, but it just demonstrates how much washing it needs to get rid of that sticky coal on polished tri-may steel. Good angle. I'm going to take the hose. We're just going to clean this off and get the ship loading, and then I'm going to look at the number 2 feeder lip. Okay, I'm once again showing the historical jetter platform inside the tank. That was the primary location for unflecting like the rat hole you see in number 2. With the relocation of that jetter at this moment in time to get it out of the confined space, it does not work. We can't see, we're not low enough, and we have to do some work there. So we'll have that as a further discussion.
Been a lot up here. I'll give
Okay.
you, quite a bit
Let me
of
turn my
warning.
radio down.
Yeah, we'll make a big bench. And
This
the
is-
coal's kind of in the middle of the pile. That's nothing special. That's displaced.
This is number 2 feeder. So you can see the shiny metal. Number 2 feeder is spotless. So all that rat hole you saw inside is up and above this feeder pan. Here is a significant lip of packed coal preventing proper flow out of 2. I will wash this. We'll reclaim and load the vessel, and I'll try and capture how fast this repacks. Over here is the lip under number 1 feeder. I'm going to dip down and try and pick up the lip under number 3 feeder. And sorry for all the camera imaging. This is the area under number 4 feeder. And just for reference for everyone's take, this here is your center feeder. And this cylinder here is what strokes the diverter gate. There's the diverter gate tip on this side, diverter gate on the other side. And by stroking that gate, we can kick coal and influence the flow out of the center feeder, which averages 1,300 ton an hour. And we can put most of it or all of it to either ship loader. We often will run with this in a position called 50-50 because the coal that leaves the center feeder favors loading the west by 70%, 30%, unless we use this diverter gate to kick the coal slightly to the east so it drops down onto the splitter pant leg, which we'll get a picture of when they open their gates. And that's how we try and balance the flow for 2,000 plus up each ship loader. So I'm now going to take a hose. I'm going to wash off the packed coal under the feeder lip. Apparently on Graveyard they did this twice. All of us have participated in this, and sometimes as quick as 10 minutes after we resume loading, we already have this packed lip of coal.